East Knoxville is filled with amazing history. It's filled with amazing potential and promise.
The heart and soul of our city is in East Knoxville.
I'm very proud to have grown up in East Knoxville.
The Housing Act of 1949 is the legislation that pretty much started urban renewal.
Urban renewal was not a program that was just in Knoxville. It was happening all over the country. In Knoxville, urban renewal is going to take place from 1959 to 1974. The whole idea behind urban renewal was to revitalize an urban area, which was predominantly African American in this case, and to revitalize that.
But there were a lot of unintended consequences that resulted from urban renewal, especially here in Knoxville, Tennessee, with such a small population of African Americans.
Over 107 businesses that were destroyed, 15 faith communities that were relocated as well, and over 2,500 individuals that were displaced. People saw their homes being burnt, and how people who were once in a thriving community had to be relocated.
Urban renewal did it in a devastating manner. It really uprooted much of our Black community as we know it during that period.
One gentleman shared with me that he was being raised by his aunt and that they were one of the last homes that was destroyed because she refused to leave. One day they were sitting on the porch watching the bulldozers bull down houses on that street, and she was crying, and when he asked her why, she said, because this will never be home again.
My great-grandfather's home was off Jackson Avenue, and his house was one that was moved. Urban renewal interrupted generational wealth. You know, it was like you had to stop and start over. Many generations to come will feel the impact of that destruction of family, of ownership, of hope even.
From an economic standpoint, you're talking about a situation where you had home ownership. Well, home ownership gets wiped away, and now you've created public housing and various things like that. So when you talk about generational wealth, you know, taking the home, and never mind when we talk about how much was paid for those homes? In other words, what was the return to the homeowner? And were they able to take those funds and build new lives and new communities with new homes? And in many instances, that was not the case.
There were memories. There was so much livelihood and life in those areas that were taken away. That pain and that anguish has still stayed with the East Knoxville community all these years. What can we do to start help the healing and to now shift the paradigm from generational poverty to now opportunities and access for generational wealth building? I put in the resolution to the mayor and council, my fellow council members, to create a task force, an African American Equity Restoration Task Force that would be charged with looking for solutions.
Councilman McKenzie.
Yes.
Councilwoman Parker.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Roberto.
Yes.
Councilwoman Singh.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilwoman Testerman.
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
And Councilwoman Fugit.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 9-0.
That was the defining moment when it got unanimous support, and I must admit, and I'm not a crier, that it brought tears to my eyes. It was about restoration, it wasn't about reparations. And so, because again, at the end of the day, it's about restoring what was taken, and that was opportunities and access to be able to have generational wealth.
I was really excited to have the opportunity to be a part of the task force and help guide innovations, creativity.
The goal of the task force is just bringing the community together, and to not only to acknowledge but also to address some of the disparities within the African American community.
What Gwen McKenzie did in December of 2020 was one of the most courageous acts that I have personally witnessed on a local level in my entire life. It was courageous of her to have the audacity to put forth this resolution. It was courageous of the mayor to receive that and to support it. It was courageous of that council to unanimously approve it.
I would call it a think tank of sorts, to see what we can do to change the trajectory or undo the harm that occurred during urban renewal. Let's think about what it would take to help everyone to have access to a successful life, to a living wage, to home ownership. And I really believe if we put all of our minds together, that we can achieve more.
A part of that is acknowledging what has happened in the past, but also pressing on towards a brighter future. And I see that happening with us working together as a collective people.
We have acquired some really big grants that have been major wins for us. We've been able to give grant dollars to nonprofits who are doing work in the community that are helping to empower people and to get them on that path to generational wealth building.
When I think about what this task force is doing and what that resolution said, and that was unanimous, my heart is filled with joy. I am proud to live in Knoxville, Tennessee, a place where extraordinary people are not afraid to do courageous things.
At the end of the day, it's about restoring what was taken, and that was opportunities and access to be able to have generational wealth.
I hope that the work of the task force long outlives me, but we want this work to have some longevity and really set forth a blueprint. Everyone has the same fair chance to be all they can be, and as my young people would say, live their best lives here in Knoxville.
I'm very proud of the people who have applied and who have sat on this task force, who have come to these meetings, who have rolled up their sleeves and been huge advocates for this work.
We have an opportunity to say, we know our history, we celebrate history, we learn from history, and we are uniting together to make our community the best it can be. Urban renewal has done what it's done. What will we do to leave it better?
I know that if we work together as a collective, that we'll have an opportunity to revive the community, one person at a time.